The final piece to the Traptrix structure deck is here, and you know what? This exceeded my expectations, honestly. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. So we are going to be going through the Traptrix structure deck here with the final missing card. And I'm not going to lie to you, this card blew my expectation. I wanted a searcher for the deck, but you know what? This is better. So this is Traptrix Holutea, and the first thing you're going to see here is, oh boy, those are stats. We got an in-house Shade Brigandine. So Traptrix Holutea, you can only use either the first or second effects of this card's name each once per turn, and you can activate this card the turn it was set by discarding a normal trap card. Now the first thing you're probably going to think is, Robbie, it's an inherent -1 to activate this the turn it's set, but that's fine. So special summon this card in defense position as a normal monster, with being a plant earth level 4 with 400 attack and defense of 2400. This is not treated as a trap card, which is actually kind of interesting. Most of those trap monster effects that we've had up until this point definitely usually include that effect. Alright, and then we have, you can banish this card from your graveyard, target one Traptrix monster in your graveyard, and special summon it. Alright, now remember, you can only use either the first and second effects of this card's name once per turn each. Alright, so you're not going to be able to do both, alright, but I honestly think that's fine, because during the opponent's turn, you'll be able to banish this from the graveyard to revive the Traptrix monster, and then get, like Myra Melio, for an example, to punish the opponent, or the ability to use any of the other effects for protection as well. So straight off the bat, like, that's pretty impressive, right? Like, now you got 6 Shade Brigandines that you can play in the archetype in order to kind of capitalize on that, early push that you would normally want to see. And the fact that this is also a whole normal trap card that gives it the ability to generate itself, they did some pretty good advantage engines with this. So that's good. Now for the rest of the structure deck here, these were the initial headliners here. This was the Traptrix Pinguicula, 2500, 300. Alright, now remember, this is 2 level 4 monsters to make it entirely generic, by the way. I still think that's crazy. This card with materials is unaffected by trap effects and by activated effects of any other monster with the same time as any of those materials. It's still amazing that they gave this card such good power-ups. Detach one material from this card to add a Traptrix monster from your deck to your hand, so another in-house searcher for this deck. And if a monster or monsters that is owned by your opponent is sent to the graveyard or banished by a card effect, you can attach one of them to this card as material. So on a 2500 that gets a search for a Traptrix, gets the ability to run over something to make herself stronger and more immune, actually was relatively strong for the archetype. Like, honestly, that's one of the main reasons why this deck seemed really interesting on paper, was because, your new rank 4 does pretty much everything that you wanted it to do, plus more here. Then we got the Traptrix Arachnocampa. I'm just going to call it Crampa here. This was your 1300, 1500. So during the main phase, if you control a Traptrix monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, and then you get locked into insect and plant monsters for the rest of this turn from the extra deck. So no Utopia double OTK shenanigans for you here, which I think is fine. Standard, same clause as all the other Traptrix. It's unaffected by the effects of whole normal trap cards. And the first time each set card in your spell and trap card zone would be destroyed by a card effect each turn, it is not. So actually, this is one of the ones that you can bring back off of the new trap hole, actually. And then you're like, oh, protection effect? My back row can't be scathed by any of that. Like, that is actually really, really solid. And I think a lot of people will look at this new stuff and they'll be like, wow, it's an extender and it can, give potential protection. Yeah, that's why you consider these new cards for those layers of effects. Like, you do care about your protection clauses a lot. And then we got the new Delusion Trap Hole. Now, that's 2 new holes that they got. They got one for actual functionality and then one to generate as a token. Now, this one, if your opponent special summons a monster this turn, or if your opponent special summons a monster this turn, target one monster they control 2,000 or more attack, destroy it. And if you have a normal, or if you have a whole normal trap card in your graveyard, you can banish 1 monster from your opponent's graveyard. Honestly, as long as your opponent engages on some sort of special summon, you can use this to basically blow up anything else. But you just have to meet the condition of that. So you could wait for your opponent to play through their turn a little bit, you know, set up something, you know, like a Link 3, for example, and then you can go ahead and then, you know, trigger this since all of the conditions have kind of been met. Or if, you know, your opponent sets up something more along the lines of an extra combo piece, you're like, oh, okay, well, thanks for meeting the conditions for my card. So this was actually one of the better cards. And then we've got the Traptrix Atypus. This was your new Link 3 with only 1,800 attack points, by the way. So very important to note that. So it's 2 monsters, including a plant or an insect monster. Keep in mind, with all the new insect and plant support we've been getting, they're really loading down for those good generic cards. Link summon of this card is unaffected by trap effects. All right, so do point that out, that you are basically going to be immune to a lot of stuff. Traptrix monsters you control gain 1,000 attack while you have a normal trap in your graveyard. So that's also going to include herself, by the way. All right, don't scoff at this and be like, oh, you know, this card is horrible. I mean, it's 2,800 on a Link 3. It's actually pretty good. And then once per turn, you can target face-up cards your opponent controls up to the number of insect and plant monsters you control. Negate their effects until the end of this turn, and you can banish 1 normal trap from your graveyard. And if you do, destroy one of the targeted face-up cards. So you get a globalized negate on your opponent's field to kind of handle some of those cards that are really annoying you. Okay, seems good to me. 2,800 on a Link 3 might not be the best. You might argue that, you know, some of the other stuff might look a little bit more inviting than this card, but it's one more little resource that you can kind of add into the pool of things that you have. I mean, the new rank 4, absolutely amazing. Searchability, you know, giving the deck those key sequences to make sure that it's able to get the job done. It definitely hits the bill for what I'm looking for here. And then we have 2 other cards here. This was Traptrix Pudica, I believe is the name here. Yeah. So this is going to be, oh yeah, it's based off of the Pitcher Plant. So you can only use the first and second effects of this card's name each once per turn. So when this card is normal summon, this lets you add the Traptrix Orchard from your deck to your hand. So yes, Traptrix did actually get their field spell in this set. That was one of the most highly requested things that players have been waiting to see was, Robbie, where's the Traptrix field spell? You know, are we eventually going to get this? Well, we finally did, actually. If this card is special summoned, target one of your opponent's special summon monsters and banish it. And if you do it during the next standby phase, your opponent can special summon one of their banished monsters. My effect with my problem with this being this banish effect, they can bring back anything that's banished. So that could actually end up biting you in the butt a little bit. And then standard, unaffected by the effects of normal whole trap cards. So not too horrible of a card, but I mean, you do have to give some consideration for it because it does interact with the field spell. Now the field spell, this was a good one. Traptrix Orchard. So during your main phase, you can normal summon 1 Traptrix monster in addition to your normal summoner set. You can only gain this effect once per turn. The first time, each of your insect plant monsters will be destroyed by battle each turn. It is not destroyed, so we're going to get another line of protection here. And you can banish 1 monster you control, special summon a Traptrix monster from your hand or graveyard. So you're going to get the ability to revive something from the graveyard. I do wish that this did search on activation, but you are getting an additional normal summon, and you do have a searcher to get to this. So most of your crazy demands should be met with this. And then the last new card we got was the Traptrix Allomerus. Now this was one of the exciting things. So this was, you can only use the first and second effects of this card's name each once per turn. So you can discard 1 level 4 insect or plant monster or a normal trap to draw 2 cards. So straight off the bat, you got draw power in this deck, which It's going to be really good considering everything we have here. And you can banish this card from graveyard, target one of your banished level 4 insect or plant monsters, or one of your banished normal traps, and place it on the bottom of the deck. So, you got filtering draw power now in Traptrix. You gave them an in-house Shade Brigadier. You gave them a new rank 4 to search for any of the toolbox cards that they need in their deck. I think this deck, honestly, looks like it could be decent rogue status, for sure. So what do you think about everything wrapped up in a nice little bundle? Please leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I will see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.